Hello, hello, this
Hey,
is
John.
John. Can you hear me? Eddy
Yes,
Cutz.
sir. Yes, sir. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing very well, fine, thank you, thank you.
I'm well. I'm well also.
That's nice, that's nice. So,
Okay.
we have today here live on the show, or not live on the show, but on a pre-recorded, we're going to talk to Eddy Cutz of Green Game Entertainment, a, a internet-based radio show that we found on Facebook um, while browsing through groups, SoundCloud groups, and music groups. So, uh, Eddy Cutz, how are you?
Yes. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Good to hear from you. One second. Let me just plug in my headphones and turn off my monitors so that you don't hear my feedback.
Okay.
How's that? Does that sound okay now?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay. There you go.
Maybe a little bit more volume. Can you?
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. How about now?
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
So, the first time we saw you was on a live streaming show. You are the host of a streaming show called Green Game Entertainment.
Yes. Yes. Well, Green Game Entertainment is the label. The show is actually GZOO Radio. GZOO Radio is the name
GZOO
of it.
Radio.
Yes, we're a radio station. So we do the show, we do the lives. Green Game is the company that owns it. That's our label.
So, where are you based?
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, in the States.
Um, yes. So I was thinking, I just call you and invite you to the show, or to get a conversation going about what are these review shows, what is happening on the Facebook with all these people streaming their music and inviting others to send in their music.
Right, right,
What
right.
is it exactly? This
Well, this is what it is. Here in the States, I'm not sure how radio works over there, but here in the States, there's a lot of what's the word? There are a lot of gatekeepers, if you know what I mean by that. Meaning, the radio is very controlled here, the FM radio, and most of the music that you hear is syndicated from one central location. Maybe five different large corporations that syndicate all the music and everything that we hear, both on the radio and on television. So now what's happening is a lot of the music you hear on the radio, it's pretty much garbage. It's all the same music. It all sounds the same. It's gotten to the point where you hear the same, no matter what state here you go to, it's the same music playing in almost every state, the same lineup, and there's no diversity. Almost every state plays based on music that's syndicated from a central computer, basically, and a lot of this music is syndicated based on YouTube likes, based on someone going viral, and that doesn't make for good music. You don't get to hear a lot of the good music that's out there uh, uh, being made by these independent artists who aren't signed to a big label. They're not signed to a big corporation that has the big money to get them into the radio. So what's happening is a lot of these artists are turning to the World Wide Web, to the social media platforms, and they're starting to become famous through those avenues. Instead of having to go through the normal old technology of radio, now people are starting to come to Facebook, to YouTube, to Twitch, Periscope, Mixer. I mean, there's a bunch of video platforms now where these artists they can get their music heard on a much wider platform, have a much wider audience, I should say, and they don't have to go through the gatekeepers. They don't have to pay extraordinary amounts of money to have their music heard, and they're all turning to us to get their music out there. and we're building like a grassroots movement in a sense, and we've united, and we're all teaming together. A lot of these review shows, and we're getting these independent artists heard.
That sounds like a very good intention, a very very good cause, so to say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
So it's about kind of resisting the industry.
exactly, yes, exactly. The industry, they only play whoever their rich donors, allow them to play. Whoever owns the big corporations, the big late record labels, they have the money to get their artists heard on the radio, to get them in front of a large audience. But the majority of good music that's out there, they're from smaller independent artists. Beautiful music. I mean, some of the submissions that come through here, it's like I'm in shock that they're not on the radio. I'm like, how are they not being promoted on the radio, on television, in any major platform, because they don't have the machine behind them to push them. So we're building our own machine, basically. We're putting the artists out in front of the public. And between all of us, we have a very large reach.
So yeah, so this is a type of resistance against great this big machinery.
Mm-hmm.
What you often say in your show is that content matters. I hear you say often.
Yes, yes, that's another reason. A lot of people, and now from that what I just said is from the artist's perspective. Now, from the audience perspective, they're tired of hearing this garbage that's being played on the radio. Most of the music out now, because it almost feels like the powers that be want us to be dumb. They want to dumb us down. They don't want the public thinking too much, if you know what I mean. They don't want us listening to conscious music, or music where someone's actually saying something. It doesn't matter what you're saying, but what matters is that you're not just repeating the same lines that 36 other artists that were just played before you said. Most of these artists today that you hear on the radio, they're saying the same thing. They're talking about drugs. They're talking about gang life. About bitches. I don't know if I can say bitches, but they they're not really saying anything clever. They're not saying anything political or powerful or loving or anything. They're not saying anything. They're just reciting the same corny rhymes that 1,000 other artists are saying, because that's what's popular. Because they're dumbing us down. They're dumbing our population down to where the kids, they're okay now with listening to stupid music that really doesn't make any sense. That everyone does. You know what I mean? Everything sounds the same. So here at Green Game, our entire focus is to to wake people up to the fact that you can have content in your music. You can actually be saying something. It doesn't matter if your song is to a woman and you're singing a beautiful song to her. It doesn't matter if your song is about politics and you're reaching out to the people in that way. It doesn't matter if it's comedic. It can be funny. You can be singing funny stuff. You know what I mean? Sad songs. It doesn't matter. But as long as you're actually saying something, not just repeating the same regurgitated lines that everyone else is doing. And that seems to be what's popular here. They just repeat the same line, the same styles. They all sound the same type of beats, and people are tired of that. So now they're turning to these live review shows because that's where you find real talent. Back in the days, the DJs in the streets, they were the ones that determined what was hot and what was not. The DJs, they got a feel from the people in the streets themselves. That's why every city had a different sound. Every city had its unique style that they brought to the game, especially here in hip hop, where we kind of specialize in. That's kind of our main genre. So before, each state, each city had a unique sound because the streets dictated what the music was, not some big corporation. So you heard all different types of styles, people talking about different things that happen in their part of the country. Now it's all the same. It's all the same now.
So when we look at the music, the cultural perspective from where the music is from, and there's teachings should be in music. There's like the DJ could be a teacher.
Right, right. And the DJ used to be the one that pushed the music to the radio. They're the ones that made the artist hot. Now the DJs are dying down and everything is computerized and there's no quality in the music because the computer is going to base the song on whether it's going viral. How many clicks did it get? How many likes did it get? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which changes the game because, as you know, a lot of that is manufactured. A lot of that is manufactured. You can go to Spotify and a lot of those plays are fake plays. It's people in China, with thousands of phones that they hire to make them look like they're popular. And because of that, they start getting played more. It's all algorithms. It's all syndicated nonsense.
So when did you start with beginning of the radio show that you do?
Well, I've been watching these review shows for about 2 to 3 years now on and I'm not one of the first. I'm one of the, I started maybe 3 years ago. They really started popping up here and there, little ones here and there. But I started about a little over a year ago. I started my own. I decided to start my own. Started off small with a little webcam, and little by little I started building up my equipment, my knowledge of video editing and streaming and all of that. And now we're to the point where our streams are really received well, and we're streaming to YouTube, to Facebook, to Twitch, to Periscope, Mixer.com, and a couple of other places. And pretty soon we're going to be broadcasting through we're broadcasting now through radio, our own radio station, but we're waiting for the licensing to come through. And we're going to be broadcasting on Roku. You know Roku? Are you familiar with this? Roku?
Is that like a streaming platform like YouTube?
Yeah, well, no, it's like a piece of hardware that you buy for your television.
Well, I have no idea what this then.
You know what a Fire Stick is? From Amazon Prime. You ever seen Amazon Prime?
No, I haven't really seen that. But
Yeah.
I understand it's kind of a machine that you can put into your television and you can receive internet.
Right. Right, exactly. It's basically internet television, and that's what Amazon Prime is. Netflix does it. That's what Netflix. You're familiar with Netflix, right?
Okay.
Yeah, right. So that's basically what they are. They're an internet television. They're not. It's not broadcast through the normal means, like through standard cable or television antennas, like back in the days. Now I can see the evolution of media, and it's all transforming to an internet-based media. So we're going to be broadcasting to Roku, to Fire Stick, which we're talking about maybe 200 million people that watch their television on these devices. And now the new smart TVs have these devices built in. So you can see the evolution. Eventually, everything's going to be internet-based. So that we're taking out the old conglomerates, the old systems, if you will. We're taking them out. We're doing away. We're evolving. We're getting away from that centralized system where only the very few rich elite can afford to broadcast to the public.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a different world. It's a different world.
Are you from the 80s as well?
Yeah.
Me as well.
Yeah, I'm from the 80s. Yes, sir. I was there when hip hop started. I lived in the Bronx, where it started. So I was there when all of that happened.
That's what we learn in the history books. That when they talk about where does hip hop come from, they say where it started. Yeah, that's you're from there.
Yeah, I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. From Brooklyn and the Bronx, New York. So I was there when it started. I was a young kid, but I remember the block parties when the DJs would come up They would you know what they would do? They would and it was illegal. They couldn't, but back then the police weren't as militarized as they are now. Back then the police were more sensible. So they let us get away with a lot of things that now you would be arrested for a long time for doing. But back then, what the DJs would do is they would set up their DJ equipment, and this is outside on the block. You know what I mean? They're not indoors, outside in the streets. So they would set up their DJ equipment. They would take, the light poles in the streets, the street lights. You know what? Yeah, street lights. And they would open up the panel and they would hook up the electric to the street lights from the city.
Hmm.
So they would turn on the DJ equipment through there, and there would be like 100 or 200 people at this giant block party, and we would all listen to while the DJs, they did the cutting and scratching and all of that.
Which artist did you see there?
Well, back then there wasn't really a lot of artists in hip hop. Remember, this is when hip hop first started. So Kool Herc was he's one of the founders. Everyone gives him the credit for being one of the founders of hip hop, and he was a famous DJ out there. And he would just play different artists, disco, Motown things, whatever it is. But then he started developing his own sound by taking these records and mixing them up and creating new music from it. So then came the MC, the guy that grabbed the microphone and started rapping over these beats that this guy was making. And that's how it started. We would all be there in the streets cheering them on. It was a fun time. Let's just say that. You can't do things like that anymore, but it was a good time.
That's amazing to hear this story from somebody who was really there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel blessed to have been part of that.
Yeah, and so they came the DJs, and then suddenly somebody took a microphone,
Right.
started to say rhymes and stories and spoken
Yes.
word and rhythms, raps and all these things.
Right. Right. They were
Um,
they were poets.
they were poets.
Right. Street poets, but they spoke about things that they saw in the streets. They spoke about the problems that we had with society, and predominantly I'm Puerto Rican, so Puerto Ricans and African Americans, they're very close up in New York, and we suffered a lot, because of society. We were always the poorest, so we didn't have a lot growing up. We had bad circumstances. The police they were much tougher on us than the rest of the country. So we would talk about it. We would discuss political matters. We would discuss things like poverty, things like that. And it started like that. And then and we also had fun. We would discuss funny things, make fun of each other on the mic.
Okay, okay. So this is very interesting. What I always see is like the tradition of storytelling and word. Uh, how you say? Words being said also
Right,
from generation on generation through generation, the next generation talking to the next generation,
right,
passing on the
right,
knowledge or the things that are happening in the times.
right, right. You remember Public Enemy?
Yes.
You know who they are. They were very political. They were very political. But here's what happens, though. So what happened is Public Enemy. They started to get the attention of the black folk, black people. They started to get the attention and tell them, listen, this is what the government's doing to us. This is what's going on in society, what society's doing to us. And they became very famous doing that. And next thing you know, the lead of Public Enemy, they were getting visited by the FBI. They started to try to shut them down. And then came NWA. You know who NWA is, right?
Hmm.
Well, then the gang rap came out, gangster rap, and they started promoting that more. And all of a sudden, Public Enemy became a thing of the past. No one talked about Public Enemy anymore. All they talked about was these gangs. Oh, this is cool, and they made it cool to be, to do gangster rap, and they promoted that more, and it just kept going like that. So now hip hop is diluted. Hip hop is gotten to a point where now every kid that comes out, every new rapper, not all of them, because I am seeing a transformation, and we're returning back to our roots. But every rapper that comes out now is like, you know who Lil Pump is?
I
Lil
heard of
Pump.
him. Yes, yes.
He sings stupid songs. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci. He just repeats the same word over and over again through the whole hook, through the whole chorus. He just says the same word, and it's like stupid. They're making all the rap that comes out now is basically you have to have an IQ of maybe 30 to it doesn't take it doesn't make you think. It's just stupid. It's like Sesame Street rhymes, like Dr. Seuss books. They're not saying anything. They're not saying anything clever, and that's why now the live reviews are starting to take over, because a lot of people are submitting music, the kind of music that they used to like, that was really good, that we used to love, and a lot of the young kids are starting to realize, wow, this is stupid. I miss what my dad used to listen to. He used to listen to some good music. Now today the music is diluted. It's become very dumbed down so that we can act like fools.
So maybe we could say that now on these internet, let's say that the internet are the blogs, the internet blogs.
Mm-hmm.
Then there come up the new DJs and the virtual streets.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's pretty much what's happening. It's a movement. It's a movement. We're still in the baby stages. So now is the time to get in. Whoever gets in now, they're the ones that'll grow with this movement.
Hmm. This is amazing because the first time I saw some of these review shows was like 1 year ago, or 1.5
Right.
year ago. Somebody invited me to a Facebook group, a SoundCloud Facebook group, and I saw all these people reviewing music, or a few, maybe 4 or 5 every day,
Right. Right.
and I was
Yeah.
amazed. And I started sending in music, and trying to connect to people, and now I'm speaking to you. This nice conversation.
Yeah.
I
I've
learned
played.
something.
I played some of your music. I remember that,
Yes,
and I welcome it because it's beautiful that we can do this internationally.
it is true. It is international. This thing happening. I'm in the Netherlands.
Right. Yeah. I remember. I remember. And we let people get an idea of music in the Netherlands, and you guys get an idea of music here, and we have people from Germany, from New Zealand, from the UK. It doesn't matter. From Africa, like we have music from all over the world being submitted to our show. It gives us a much broader audience, a much more diverse set of music tracks that you can listen to.
You could say it's like a. I would say it comes to mind like a spirit exchange.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
I always felt that by listening to the hip hop and the raps and all kinds of also different kinds of music, but yeah, we got the music. Maybe we had tapes or we had CDs or from like for instance maybe Tribe Called Quest or so or
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Yeah, yeah.
and I always felt that even though we are here in the Netherlands, we still get it's like a transmission of knowledge and of spirit, like through the language, the
Mm,
the knowledge of ancestors and peoples are transmitted to other peoples.
yes,
It's kind of also reawakened, kind of like a DNA reawakening of something ancient. That's what I always felt.
I agree. I agree. But I mean, throughout history, people have communicated through music. It's been a common bond between man. Music is universal. That's the one thing that we can all agree on. You know, we can all listen to good music together. It doesn't matter if we speak the same language. Doesn't matter, you know, where you're from. Good music is good music. Period.
Good music is good music.
That's it.
Would you say that there are maybe a set of like, are there rules to music, like to differentiate between what is good music and what is would be bad music? What would be the
For me, the main there aren't any rules. It's art, so of course there's no rules. There aren't any rules. But for me, content matters. That's why we're always saying content matters. What you're saying in your music, I mean, if you're just playing an instrumental, that's different. Then you know, you can listen to all types of instrumentals and when there's no, but when there's spoken word in it, what you're saying can change the entire mood of the song. If you're saying something clever in it, if you're saying something deep and emotional, or if you're saying something political that makes you think, you know, it doesn't matter what you're saying, but as long as you're saying something, if you're making jokes in a song, that's funny. I like songs like that. But just say something. Don't just repeat the same thing over and over. Like I told you, like that Gucci Gang. He literally the entire chorus, he just says Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci. And it's like, wow, this song went platinum.
platinum?
Yeah, it went platinum.
It's crazy, and it's only in your part of the world where it's all the same, the music, but it also get exported over here, and here it's also emulating it's being emulated, and then
Yes,
it's
yes, I'm seeing that. But that's because it's a system. There's a system in place, and it doesn't matter what country you're from. The elite, rich elite, you know, the 1%, they control all of that, and they want everyone to listen to the same dumb, stupid music. They, they don't want you listening to music that's intelligent. They don't want you to listen to music that might teach you something.
uh, this we are diving deep tonight here. I've got the feeling.
Yes.
Some deep dives here. Hmm. Yeah. Let me think. So
What's the most popular genre over there in the Netherlands?
it would be as well kind of R&B, hip hop kind of things, but it kind of also turned to and also EDM,
EDM, yeah,
the house music.
yeah, yeah. We have a lot of EDM here too. I like EDM. EDM is good, but EDM's more to me about the energy. It's more about a feel. So it's mostly instrumentals, right?
Hmm.
So that's different. That's okay to me. Like it's not. You don't have to be deep or anything. That's really about the instrumentals and how well you can blend tones together and different sounds and make it sound unique and cool and give you a bounce, make you bounce in the clubs, you know.
True, true. Um, the yeah, so yeah, the hip hop came here. I remember when there used to be like only house music a lot on the television, like hardcore music, and not so much hip hop.
Right.
I think it really started for me. It started really in the 90s to emerge, and then people started also emulating it, and also starting to do raps here in the Netherlands in the end
Okay.
80s, begin 90s. So
Okay.
then the wave from the United States came, the bounce came over here,
Right.
and then now I see in Europe people are also doing the hip hop and the raps from all kinds of people,
Yeah.
and it's a wave returning to the United States as well.
Right.
I
There
feel
is.
also something about that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of I love it. I love it because first of all, it kind of unites our countries. It allows the youth from United States and from your country and from Japan or from Korea, wherever. It allows them to communicate with each other. Thankfully, the internet now is changing things. Before, we here in the United States, we had no idea what your music was. We didn't know how you as a people thought or behaved or what kind of homes you lived in, what kind of food you ate. Now the internet allows us all to communicate with each other. So we don't have to listen to just whatever the government or our parents tell us anymore. Now we can ask. I can ask you, hey, what do you think of this that my government is doing? Or what do you think? What do you think? Why is your government doing this? Or why is your culture doing this? And why? Or you might ask me, what? Why do you guys do this? Like we can talk to each other directly now. Before we had to just listen. We had to read it in the books. Whatever the establishment tells us. That's all we had to go by. That's the only thing we knew. We didn't know. We didn't understand how the rest of the world works. Especially here in the United States, we don't travel a lot. Or every other country travels to other countries. We don't. The United States is probably the one country that travels the least.
Well, also to say like the United States is almost as big as the whole of Europe. So
Right.
if I travel for 5 kilometers, in a circle of 10 kilometers in my area, there's 3 countries,
Wow.
three
See what I
borders.
mean? See what I mean? That's to me that's it's amazing. You can go to another country in a very short amount of time and experience an entirely different culture.
It's true that like in the east from here they speak German. In the west they speak Dutch and French.
Mm.
And in the south there's also French and
Yeah,
different languages.
the mother of my two sons, she's on the show sometimes. You might see her. We call her baby mama,
Hmm.
but she's Belgian. She's from Belgium.
Okay. I heard that Antwerps.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. She speaks Flemish. Is it called Flemish?
Flemish. True.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. She speaks that. She knows how to. And it's so funny to watch her speak it because she's you don't hear her saying it too often. She came here when she was like 7.
Hmm.
So she's been here most of her life. She's not a citizen yet, but she's been here most of her life. So I've only heard her speaking Flemish once or twice to when her grandmother comes from over there, from Belgium.
Okay. It's like Flemish is just like it's kind of like the Dutch language. It's only
Yeah,
sounds a little bit different, few different words. In Dutch, there's a few different words, but it's very similar. The Netherlands used to be Belgium, and Belgium used to be the Netherlands. It used to be one
right,
country.
right. I remember reading about that in our history. I research a lot of that stuff, but most people don't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, people are busy with the Gucci Gang, of course.
Right, exactly. They're busy jumping up, doing whatever drugs these kids are telling them to do. They're busy behaving the way these kids are telling them to buy. Over here, it's cool to buy yourself a $300 belt, a belt that all it does is hold your pants up, and they'll pay $300 for that. But they won't have food to feed their kids. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a status thing. So
Status.
they feel like they have a higher status if they're wearing the new Air Jordans that cost $300-400. Some Air Jordans like they resell them, and I've seen Air Jordans go up to $10,000, like the classics.
ten
Isn't that
thousand
crazy?
dollars.
Yeah,
For
isn't that
sneakers.
crazy for a pair of sneakers?
That is crazy. That's crazy
That's
indeed.
nuts. But
That's
that's what the new music that's out now. It's all commercial. It's all commercialized. It's all meant to drive more business. So that's why there's an underground following of people that are sick of it. They don't want this anymore. They want true good music, music that they can feel, that they can think about, that makes them think, not just the same regurgitated garbage that everyone else is doing. But I believe it's changing. I believe it's changing. Like I said, these music reviews, the online space, that's changing everything.
Let's not lose hope.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I've seen it. I'm old enough to have seen the evolution of music and how it went downward, but now I'm seeing it come back upward. I'm seeing it with my own eyes.
There's also something I want to ask. So it's green, game,
Yeah,
entertainment. So
right.
I'm wondering about the green, and I'm wondering about the game. What is the game?
Well, green game is basically it just means how do I say it? It's the game that we play to get green, to get money. It's the game that we're playing the game basically. So some people, how do I put it? It's kind of it's hard to describe. It's really just a catchy phrase more than anything. When people say, you know, we're trying to we're trying to advance, we're trying to make money. You know, it's popular here to become rich. That's what everyone aspires to. Not much else. You know what I mean? But we started off as Green Game. You know, we want to get. We've always been poor. Most of us at Green Game, we still are poor. We're not rich at all, and everyone wants to get to that point where we can live comfortably and survive. So you know, we're trying to. It's all a big game where the elite they're the only ones with any money, with any power, with any stability. So we became Green Game because we're entering the game too now.
So it's kind of like sports, like running.
Right, right,
Okay, okay. Because also they did. I always heard people say about the rap game, the
right,
music game,
right.
and also
That's what they mean. Like when you say the game here, it means the event, the sporting event in a sense. It's metaphorical. Yeah,
uh-huh. There, there you taught me something, but I did not know.
right. That's basically what it means. Like if you're watching a football game, it's an event where you're competing. You're becoming part of the game. You're competing. That's basically what it is. It means that we're competing. We're in that game. If you're in the music game, then that means you're competing in the music industry.
Okay, okay. Yes, this is very special that we speak here tonight, here through the internet and exchanging information.
I agree. Like I said, the internet has changed everything. Now we can do things like this. Before you and I would not be talking. Before the internet, we would never know anything about each other.
That
Now we can do this.
we can, we can. Um, 1 second, I'll
Sure.
take some rolling papers.
Nice, nice. Yeah, you guys were a lot more lenient with all of that before we were. Now it's becoming legal here everywhere.
It's even becoming a kind of reversed now.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. Yeah, I'm noticing that. It used to be like everyone went to Amsterdam. Now here we're legalizing it. I think in like 5 states now it's legal, completely legal. You can go to the store and buy it. And then a lot of the other states they made it non-criminal, which it's still illegal to like buy and sell it, but you don't they don't really prosecute you like they used to. You know, there's people that go to jail for like life for marijuana.
That is, how you say that? Abhorrent. Sick,
Sickening.
sickening. Yes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but things are changing. Like I said, through the music and through this movement, we're making differences. Little by little, yeah, it does take a long time, but we are changing things. It's the evolution. You can't stop the young kids these days. They're learning at a faster pace than ever before. So you can't lie to them like you used to. You
Okay.
know, the kids don't have to have their parents' same frame of mind. They don't have to think like their parents did because their parents, all they had to go by was whatever the government and the media tells them. That's the only thing that they have to go by.
Yeah. So it's a time of change. Time of change. let's say, yeah, we're now in the 40th minute of this like conversation.
Went by fast,
Yeah,
right?
by fast.
I'd like to do I'd like to do other ones with you. I'd like to
Yeah,
get to know more and vice versa.
yeah, that would be awesome. I think for the show recording, we can now end the recording, I guess.
Hmm. Okay, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the interview, and it was good talking to you. I hope to see you back in the show again.
So, so Green Game Entertainment,
Yes. Green
GZOO.net.
GZOO.net is the website,
That's
and
what?
it's the radio station.
Yes, the radio station and the
Hmm.
shows. Yes, it's great. I will turn the recording off now, and we can talk a little bit
Okay.
off air.
Sure.